Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Spotlight TV. We're so glad to have you again as our very special guest, and we have a special guest with us, Dr. Beverly Potter, excuse me, and you're doing well today?
Yes, I am.
Do this for us. Introduce yourself briefly to our viewing audience.
Well, I'm Beverly Potter. I like to be called Doc Potter, not doctor, but Doc, like, what's up, Doc Potter?
Okay. We're so glad to have you as our guest, and we're going to speak about this book that you've written, Cannabis for Seniors.
Yes.
Now, I'm looking here, it says Cannabis for Seniors is written for independent seniors as well as for family members and caretakers seeking ways to manage their everyday health concerns without resorting to powerful, habit-forming, potentially dangerous medications. You mentioned that Cannabis for Senior reviews the latest scientific research regarding the health effects of marijuana and the effectiveness of various cannabis strains for managing specific health conditions. Speak to us and speak to our viewing audience about this fascinating book that you've written.
Well, the situation is that seniors are being doped up constantly. Some seniors might be taking 6, 8, or even more heavy pharmaceuticals, being doped up. Cannabis has a lot of benefits with very few of the negatives. It's not addictive. Nobody's died from cannabis. People die from opioids, and they habituate and they have to take more and more, so that seniors are being doped up all the time. And a lot of people don't know the many uses of cannabis. It doesn't have to be necessarily smoked. That's what we think of, smoked. But there's lots of ways to use it. You can take the leaf, the marijuana or cannabis leaf, and you can put it in oil or alcohol and let it sit there, and it creates a tincture that can be used in many ways. It can be rubbed into your skin to get rid of pain and inflammation. One of the most precarious things that people should be cautious about is edibles, eating like cookies and so forth,
So
because
you mentioned
yeah,
that the leaves can be dropped into alcohol and
yeah,
let it sit.
yeah.
And over time, you can use that to rub into the body and it'll relieve pain and different things of that nature.
Or you can even take it orally, because I mean, you strain out like you usually with marijuana or cannabis, there's this residue left, seeds and bits of this and the little stems and whatnot. That can be put into oil, like olive oil in a
Yes.
jar, or like vodka, and you just let it sit there for a week or two, a while, and it leaches out the chemicals from these from the marijuana. Then you strain it out, and you have a tincture that can be used in many ways. It can be rubbed into the skin. It can be. One time I had this terrible toothache. Oh, it hurt so much. I got a Q-tip and I stuck it in some tincture cannabis, and I rubbed it on my gum. The pain went away immediately. I mean, it was so amazing. I still did lose 2 teeth,
So
but it
now,
wasn't painful.
wasn't pain. So for that remedy, was it the olive oil that you had dropped that you had put the seeds and the stems into, or was it the alcohol?
It could be, well, I don't remember which it was. I'm not clear. I don't recall if it was a tincture I made or one I bought. Okay.
Okay.
The chemicals, cannabis is loaded. That's why I want to just try to show you this picture.
Yes.
Can you see this right here? Oops, wrong side. This right here. It doesn't have to be clear, but you see it. Look, these little clear things like little mushrooms. That's the
Okay.
flower, and those little clear things are loaded with chemicals. Cannabis is amazing, hundreds of chemicals. As soon as big pharma gets a hold of cannabis, it's going to be incredible. Okay. And there's all these different kinds of chemicals in there, and they're not water soluble. They are oil soluble or alcohol soluble. So you can stick that in there and let it sit for a while, and various chemicals get leached out of the plant into the liquid, and you've created your own tincture.
Now, when you say alcohol, Doc Beverly,
Vodka.
vodka. Okay,
I mean,
okay. So,
not like a brown alcohol, it's usually like a vodka,
okay, vodka.
clear alcohol.
You
Yeah.
it's something. It says something here. You said that cannabis presents. It also presents reports on cannabis use by seniors who have tried medical marijuana and had good results. It addresses the myth and worries that many seniors have about marijuana use, showing which concerns are founded in fact and which are simply based on inadequate or partial information.
Yeah.
Talk to us about
I
that,
mean, I
because
don't know
some of the
who wrote that.
information
First of
people
all,
get.
marijuana and cannabis are basically the same thing. And it's
Yes.
not they're not medical, and one should not use that word. It conveys the bad impression. Medicine is big pharma, is doctors, is laws. It's medicinal, not medical. It's not a
Yes.
drug, it's an herb, okay? And it can be, and people have to learn how to use it. It's we don't know how to use it, and people get confused. For example, we have a picture of the stoner smoking a joint, and that's one delivery system, is the smoking, because you inhale, it goes right into your lungs and gets into the bloodstream within very quickly, a couple of minutes. But that's the only one delivery system, and so people create a problem for themselves when they eat it, but they have an picture in their mind that, okay, I'm going to eat this cookie, and then they wait, they go, well, nothing's happening, so they eat another one and another, and then they're going to have a very negative experience, very negative, because people don't understand that eating has to go all the way through the digestive system and get all the way down to the intestines before, which could be like 2 hours before it can get into the bloodstream. So they keep eating and eating it. Well, once all that stuff is there, one has way overdone it. And
Okay.
you can't pump your stomach, you can't do anything. And then there's almost always a very severely negative reaction. In fact, there was this famous 911 call, and this man calls 911. He goes, call an ambulance, we're dying. And the dispatch, calmed him down. He kept saying, call an ambulance. And so the story was, the man calling was a cop, and he had gotten the pot off the perk, and he brought it home, and he and his wife made brownies, and then they ate them all. Bad idea. You
Okay.
eat half a brownie, not a plate of brownies. And once they're down there in the gut, you can't get it out. You just have a very negative experience, and it's usually extremely painful. You think you're dying. You feel like you're dying because it's this extreme pain in the gut, and nobody can stop it. You just have to live through it. It's terrible. Don't ever do that.
So why does it cause? Do you have any information as to why it causes this extreme pain in the gut by eating it? If you
Well,
overeat?
if one only ate one cookie, that's one thing. But see, people don't understand that how it works. When you smoke it, it gets right into the bloodstream. In 1 or 2 minutes, you get a reaction. When you eat it, it could take a couple hours to get a
Yes.
reaction. And they're going, well, what's going on? And then they eat more and more and more and more and more. And then they have a problem. You can't get it out. Once you've eaten it, you can't get it out.
Yes. So if
And
I
then you
understand you
gotta
correctly, Dr. Beverly, it's very important that a person educate themselves on the use.
absolutely. Of the
Yes.
different delivery, I mean, breathing in, that's smoking, is a delivery system. Eating is rubbing it into your skin is another delivery system. They're even developing anal suppositories, which would be so we have to understand these delivery systems, how long they take, how they work. On the skin is like this thing about taking the leaves and stems that are left over and putting them in the oil, the alcohol, especially
Yes.
oil. Then you can rub that into your skin and relieve inflammation, relieve pain. That's what
That's
I was saying
amazing when
about.
you talk about how it relieves inflammation and pain. You mentioned in your book some of the conditions that cannabis can help. Talk to us about. I noticed you mentioned depression, Alzheimer's disease, chronic pain, anxiety. digestive
Well, there's
disorder.
different things. What's very interesting is that there's so many chemicals. That picture I showed you with the little mushrooms, the clear thing,
Yes.
loaded with CBD, THC, all these chemicals, okay? And those chemicals, some of them are actually neuroprotectants. They actually help our brain cells. Some of them are even have regenerative qualities, these chemicals in the plant, okay? And one of the problems is that cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, got scheduled as a class Schedule 1 drug along with heroin, opium, cocaine, when it isn't even anywhere in that category. And it became, and so it really halted research.
Okay.
For years and years and years, research was halted. So that's part of the problem.
And I noticed, Doc Beverly, that many states have different criteria. For instance, I know that you can go, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I went into a store that a friend of mine operates, and you can actually buy the cannabis there. You need your license, proof of age, cannabis, and all sorts of things that they sold in this store, and it's legal. And he also shared with me that as long as you have the receipt, if you are stopped by law enforcement and you have the receipt and the bag isn't open to where you're using it in the car, they can arrest you.
Well, California is very similar. They call those places dispensaries. And there's many dispensaries, and you can go in and buy all different kinds of cookies that have cannabis in it, and flour, the plants, and that you can smoke, and they call the people behind the counter selling it bud tenders.
Okay, that's
Bud
quite
tenders.
interesting. We have
And
a
you can ask
minute.
them questions, and these are totally, I mean, you have to be over 18 and you have to have an ID to get in.
Yes, they do require that you show some identification. We have a minute and 30 seconds left. Is there any information you'd like to share with our viewing audience? Email, website, any
Well,
contact
I do
information?
have a website that has a lot of information about, there's a page on Cannabis for Seniors, but it has a lot of other information, and it's docpotter.com, DOC Potter, one word, docpotter.com. And that website is packed with all kinds of information and stuff.
That's great
And
to know. So
interviews.
it's, I mean, very educational. Thank you for this wealth of information that you're sharing. And I'm here. It talk about the book explains the scientific research, personal antidotes supporting the use of cannabis.
Well,
And
seniors have to learn how to use it. That's the problem. They don't know how to use it. And it's a learning process, and it's very individualized.
that's interesting. Education is key. Learning how to use
Yes.
it,
Yes,
knowing what's going to be most effective for the individual.
right.
That is so powerful. Doc Beverly, we want to thank you so much for sharing this
Oh,
wealth
thank
of
you.
information with us.
Thank you. Well, here, show a picture of the book real quick.
Yes.
Whoops, there we go. Cannabis.
Excellent. Thank
Well,
you so much. I want to thank
right.
our viewing audience for joining us, for tuning in. Don't forget to contact Doc Beverly and the website that she gave you. I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. This has been Spotlight TV. We'll see you next time right here on Spotlight TV.
Okay, bye-bye.